As 2018 draws to a close, let's take a look back at the year that was through the words of a man that didn't get a lot of attention this past year, Donald John Trump. What's that you say? No. Well, we're going to do it anyway. The year started off on a pretty positive note.
There's such divisiveness, such division, and I really believe we can solve that.
But it didn't take long for the president to react thusly when he didn't feel he was being applauded enough at his State of the Union address.
They were like death and un-American. Somebody said treasonous. I mean, yeah, I guess why not?
Treasonous, and it's only February. In March, Donald Trump announced $50 billion of tariffs on Chinese imports. And throughout the year, Trump upped the ante by putting more tariffs on more things.
I said, okay, good, we're going to tariff your cars. We're going to go $200 billion at 25%.
March is also the month that Trump broached a new and intriguing idea he had.
Space Force. We have the Air Force, we'll have the Space Force. A sixth branch of the United States Armed Forces, the Space Force.
A trend began around this time where Fox News anchors interviewing Donald Trump asked him to grade his performance in office. And you can imagine how that went.
I would give myself an A+.
I give myself an A+. Look, I hate to do it, but I will do it. I would give myself an A+. Is that enough? Can I go higher than that?
No, Mr. President, an A+ is pretty much as good as it gets. Although some people at the United Nations didn't agree with Trump's grade assessment.
In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true.
Awkward. Makes my stomach hurt. Anyway, on to May, where Trump started railing against the country's immigration laws.
We have the worst laws anywhere in the world. The worst laws, immigration laws in history. They have given us so little, and the Democrats don't want to change the laws because they want this chaos at the borders.
Speaking of things President Trump doesn't like, here's a list of things he's called disgraceful just this year.
Our current libel laws are a sham and a disgrace. They raid an office of a personal attorney early in the morning, and I think it's a disgrace. If they had spies in my campaign, that would be a disgrace. What's happening in Venezuela is a disgrace.
Whew, that's a lot of disgrace. June was a busy month for the president. He met in Singapore with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and despite the death of an American that Un's regime held captive, accusations of mass human rights violations, and allegations of an international hit squad sent to kill Kim Jong-un's half-brother, Trump had mostly glowing words to say.
We signed an incredible agreement. It's great. We had a great meeting, great chemistry. Chairman Kim has been really very open and terrific, frankly.
Such chemistry. And in fact, Donald Trump said that he and Kim Jong-un actually fell in love.
We'll go back and forth, and then we fell in love, okay? No, really. He wrote me beautiful letters, and they're great letters. We fell in love.
When Trump got back from the Singapore summit, he focused on electing Republican candidates he liked in primaries. And his message was simple.
Get your asses out tomorrow and vote.
And then, following the loss of a Democratic congressman in New York City, Donald Trump took a victory lap.
One of my biggest critics, a slovenly man named Joe Crowley, got his ass kicked.
The thing about Joe Crowley was the person he lost to was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who pledged to impeach the president if elected. The big news in July was a joint press conference Trump held with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Our relationship has never been worse than it is now. However, that changed as of about 4 hours ago.
Trump was widely criticized for accepting Putin's denial and going against the intelligence community that said beyond a shadow of a doubt that Russia had interfered in the U.S. election. I guess Trump just kind of took Putin's word for it.
He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
The next day, Trump did a reversal. Oops, my bad, slip o' the tongue.
The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia. Sort of a double negative.
Now, excuse me for a moment while we do a little bit of housekeeping.
There's been no collusion. There was a great report. No collusion, which I knew anyway.
I did nothing wrong. There was no collusion.
There was no collusion. I didn't know the president. No collusion. No collusion.
No collusion, no nothing.
I'm sure it'll be just fine. And you know why it's going to be just fine? Because there was no collusion.
Quick fact check. It may not actually be true that there was no collusion. But moving on, when Donald Trump nominated Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court in July, he never could have expected the federal judge's nomination to be nearly derailed by allegations of sexual misconduct. Kavanaugh steadfastly denied the allegations and squeaked through the process. And Trump unloaded on his opponents and Kavanaugh's accuser herself.
It's a very scary time for young men in America. How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I don't remember. Where is the place? I don't remember. How many years ago was it? I don't know. Nobody was ever abused like then Judge Kavanaugh.
Another big story as the year drew to a close was the caravan of migrants walking from Central America through Mexico and toward the U.S. border, or as President Trump described it,
That's an invasion.
Many criminals.
They are not angels. They are not. We're not dealing with babies here, folks.
Trump even said,
This will be the election of the caravan.
so when Democrats picked up 40 seats and retook control of the House of Representatives going into next year, how did Trump take that?
I thought it was a very close to complete victory. When you look at it from the standpoint of negotiation.
A negotiation victory. Well, at least there's something we have to look forward to in 2019, the return of negotiations.